Hello and welcome to Rod's Tabletop Hoops. Today I'm just shooting some baskets courtside at my home, and I was just coming up with some topics while I shoot for discussion in the world of tabletop basketball. And one of the things I wanted to kind of promote is a season I think would be ideal for a long or short replay. A long replay probably would utilize a computerized game like Hoops, Tabletop PC, or the Stratomatic PC game, but the year is 1977-78, and it's the NBA's season. That year, that's when the Supersonics and Washington Bullets surprised the world and went to the finals for the first time of 2 straight seasons, and they had themselves a 7-game series with the Bullets, pulling off victory in Game 7. But what makes this season all the more interesting is the fact that there was so much controversy during the season, a lot of injuries during this season, and just a lot of oddities that if you do a replay, short, long, or indifferent, you'll come up with some really interesting results no matter what, and you can always do modifications. My example of a modification was when I came back into the tabletop/PC gaming industry as a participant back in 2017, 2018. I was looking at, maybe even 2016, I was looking at a game that I could do a PC replay with, and this one that I played was on Hoops PC, and the game has its own built-in schedule where you can either simulate or play-by-play each game. And so I was a Portland Trail Blazers fan, am a Portland Trail Blazers fan, and I took on the Portland Trail Blazers, and my determination, my modification was to play Bill Walton in every single game to see if I can get them to win the championship. In real life, he missed 24 games and was pretty much worthless for the playoffs, as were a bunch of other Trailblazers. So I let every other Trailblazer get their normal miss a game there, but I wanted Walton to be healthy because he had garnered already the MVP of the league, and the Blazers were just a fantastic team when he was healthy. So replayed the entire season, and I put it on the Delphi forums under the Hoops section, and I just had an incredible result there where I had my Blazers, and they made it all the way to the NBA Finals, and I really had a great time with them. I'm not going to give the entire result. If you want to go to the Hoops forum on Delphi forums, you can look up Healthy Walton under the PC links, and you can see who actually won. It was just so incredible. The records of the teams, they were all a little bit different than from real life, including teams like, the Bullets and the Sonics. They were an entirely different team at the start of the season versus at the end. The Supersonics, they started off 5-17 under Bob Hodgkins, and they had an entirely different lineup that included guys like Leonard Gray and Bruce Seals and Slick Watts. Turned it all around, acquired John Johnson, threw Gus Williams into the starting lineup, and they acquired Marvin Webster, and Jack Sickman was a rookie, and they went all the way to the finals under Lenny Wilkins. What an amazing turnaround. The Bullets were kind of the same way. They were kind of having a mediocre season. They only finished 44-38 and made the NBA Finals and won it all. But they made one incredible pickup during the season, and that was Bobby Dandridge of Milwaukee, a perennial all-star small forward to go with Elvin Hayes. He's also a great defender. Wes Unseld, that made for just was the missing link to that team, and they ended up winning the championship. Having said that, I don't think that was the best team around. I think there were definitely some teams that were better than the Sonics and the Bullets, and that includes the 55-27 76ers. They had everything. I don't know what happened in the playoffs, how they couldn't get past the opponents. I think they must have lost to the Bullets. Let me take a look in my reference materials. Yep, they got beat 4-2 by the Washington Bullets under Billy Cunningham. 76ers, they had Irving, McGinnis, and Collins. What an amazing group of players. So, also, another great team in that group that was probably better than the championship foes was the San Antonio Spurs. And the Spurs won 52 games, and once again, they got very far in the playoffs. And as I look, they lost to Washington 4-2, after winning the Central Division title. So you not only have some incredible teams, even Phoenix Suns, I can keep throwing out teams who are probably better than those two teams that were in the finals. Denver Nuggets had a shot at it, and there's a lot of up-and-coming teams as well, including the Milwaukee Bucks, who won 44 games, same amount as the Bullets, but they had a nice young rookie with Marcus Johnson, another rookie, Bernard King in New Jersey. I think they were still the New York Nets at the time. Nope, they were New Jersey, according to this, in 77-78. They only won 24 games, but Bernard King was a great young rookie, and you can never forget Walter Davis on Phoenix. So there's a lot of good rookies. The scoring championship, as many recall, that was George Gervin and David Thompson coming down to the final day, where Gervin won by 27.2 to 27.15 or something like that, having a high-scoring race. But do not forget that Bob McAdoo of New York averaged 26.5, only a half point a game behind. And on top of that, like I mentioned earlier, the injuries, the amount of tragedy during this year, there was another player named Pistol Pete Maravich, averaged 27.0 in just 50 games. And not only did his knee injury harm his chances of qualifying for the scoring title, but his New Orleans Jazz only finished with 39 wins and were kind of knocked out of playoff contention just in the final week or two of the season. So that could be different if you decide, I'm going to play Pistol Pete 70 games instead of 50. Just like if you want to play Walton 82 games instead of 58, you can have some incredibly different results. Other injuries during that year, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar decided to punch Kent Benson after Benson elbowed him in the gut. I guess Benson learned a quick lesson in the first few minutes of his first NBA game. The number one pick took one, and he was hurt a little bit too, but Kareem missed about 20 games that year. And the Lakers also had an injury to newly acquired Jamal Wilkes. So they ended up really sagging toward the end. They did win 45 games, just two back of Seattle. But that Laker team could be a little bit different if you decided to add a couple games to Kareem's slate for the year. Also, the big tragedy of the year was the Kermit Washington punching Rudy Tomjanovich. And he went to the floor and nearly died on the court. And so just imagine those Houston Rockets with a full year of Rudy T combined with another injured player that year, Moses Malone, Calvin Murphy, and another injured player, Mike Newley. And you throw those guys in the lineup for a few more games, do like a little mini bracket for the playoffs and just give everybody a chance. And that Houston team is quite tough. So there's just a lot of great little stories. I mean, even the lowly Golden State Warriors, they finished in 5th place in the Pacific. They won 43 games, though. Rick Barry's still there. Did not qualify for the playoffs in Rick Barry's final season as a Warrior. So all kinds of fun little things. Kermit Washington kind of traded after that punching incident with Los Angeles and ended up in Boston. And Boston only won 32 games, but when I replayed them in hoops, I got them to about 41 wins because they had a little more Kermit Washington in the lineup. I didn't do as played. I had after the trade type players. So you had Cowens, Sidney Wicks, Kermit Washington, a little bit of JoJo White. He was hurt. And I think Charlie Scott got traded. So that Celtics team, though, has a lineup with the rookie Cedric Maxwell of a pretty good team. So once again, so many little options with the new rookies in the league, like Marcus King and the Greyhound, and just a fun season to play. 1977-78, whether you're playing it Hoops, Tabletop Pro Basketball, my favorite game, Status Pro, you can probably find an old Phil Graham version of that to play. Of course, if you're lucky and have it in Stratomatic, you can play a solitaire or a multiplayer game with that as well. But once again, 1977-78 NBA, a great season of cards on the tabletop or on the PC. This is Rod signing out for this tabletop chat.